Part 1. The Power of Your Words. Chapter 1. Words are containers for power. Proverbs 18:21 teaches us that the power of life and death is in the tongue. Words have both creative power and destructive power. Anytime we have power, we also have responsibility. Many times people want some kind of power so they can play around with it or flaunt it to others. But God will not allow that. If He gives us power, He requires us to be responsible for it. Since God has given us power in our words, He wants us to be accountable for them. In Matthew 12:36, Jesus says, "But I tell you, on the day of judgment, men will have to give account for every idle, inoperative, non-working word they speak." If we really believe this verse and know we will have to be accountable for our words, and if we really believe our words are powerful, most of us would be much more careful about what we say. We can be very casual in our speech, and sometimes we say ridiculous things. If we were to record ourselves for just 1 week and listen to our own words, we would quickly understand why we have some of the problems we have and why some things never change. I'm sure we would hear on the recording our confessions of doubt and unbelief, complaining, grumbling, unforgiveness, fear, and words based on other negative thoughts and emotions. We would also likely hear a lot of confirmation about the negative situations that are happening to us at the time, but not much prophecy foretelling of the great future God has planned for us. We might hear statements such as these. "This child of mine is never going to change. I might as well forget it. The more I pray, the worse he acts. This marriage is simply not going to work. I absolutely cannot put up with any more of this. If one more thing happens, I'm leaving. It never fails. Every time I get a little money, some problem comes along and costs me every penny I've got. I just can't hear from God. He never speaks to me. I don't care what I do, I just cannot lose weight. Everyone in my family has been diabetic, so I'm just waiting for it to happen to me. Nobody loves me. It looks like I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life." At the same time we are making such negative statements, we also claim that we are believing for our children, our marriage, our finances, our spiritual or physical health, and that we are believing the Holy Spirit will lead us to our lifelong mate. Many times, we say things like these because we feel afraid or stressed. Here is an example from my life of the way I once spoke when under pressure. One evening, I was looking for something in my house and having a difficult time finding it. At the same time, various family members were asking me to help them with different things they were doing. I could feel the pressure mounting, and when the pressure gets high, the mouth flies open. In my frustration, I blurted out, "This place drives me crazy. I can never find anything around here." Instantly, God called my attention to my words and led me to examine exactly what I had just said. First, I realized I had lied because I really could find things I was looking for, and most of the time, I found them fairly quickly. Just because I could not find one thing one time, that did not mean I could never find anything. Most of us tend to exaggerate when we feel pressured. We magnify circumstances, blowing them out of proportion, and making them sound much worse than they really are. The careless words we speak in the heat of the moment may not mean much to us, but they definitely carry weight in the spiritual realm. Before I said I could never find anything, I had said, "This place drives me crazy." The Lord helped me understand that was a lie, too. I realized that my house was not actually going to make me go crazy, but if I kept saying it would, it just might. If you pay attention to what people say, you will notice that a lot of individuals make negative statements about their mental capacity and condition. They say things like, "That just blows my mind. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Sometimes I think I'm going to end up crazy. My brain just won't work right. I'm just not thinking right today. I never remember anything. I am getting so forgetful. I must be getting Alzheimer's disease." If this situation does not end